What's good, everybody? It is Ace back with another props video for you guys. Yesterday we went 4-1 and I noticed something weird in the thumbnails of my video. I made 3 videos so far and every person that I put in the thumbnail chalks. It's crazy. We have like a weird thumbnail curse, I guess, but hopefully today that ends. But yeah, we went 4-1 yesterday. Like I said, the thumbnail curse got us. Jameer chalked his fantasy score, which sucked. He had a long run in like the 4th or 3rd quarter that got called back because of holding, and then he also had like 2 or 3 carries inside the 10-yard line. He couldn't score. That sucked. But we cashed the Montgomery Goblin, and then we also cashed Halliburton assists. I also said in the Discord we put 1.5 units on Halliburton over 9.5 assists, and then we also did half a unit on his 10.5 assists, and he finished with like 23. He soared over that line. Yeah, we also gave out Ant over 1.5 threes, that cashed, and then Cade over 19.5 points, that cashed as well. So we went 4-1, and this was cool, super cool, because in the write-up I told you guys Cade has been elite in the paint in December, and like very, very elite. And if we actually look at his shot chart, the matchup was great too, as the Raptors suck in the paint. Look at that, he had like 5 or 6 makes in the paint. I don't know how many that is because that's like they're stacked on top of each other. But yeah, he went crazy in the paint that game. He finished with 30. A lot of these chalkboard alt lines, they're like soaring over. So I mean, you could take their OG line if you want, but I prefer to play it safe. But I have a few props for you guys today. So let's get into the first one. The first one's going to be on PrizePicks, and it's in the Grizzlies game, and it's going to be Marcus Smart over 11.5 points. I don't know, people might be sleeping on this prop, but I'm loving the read here. So let's get into why I'm taking this. So Marcus Smart has gone over in all 3 out of 3 games since returning from his injury, and he's over in 2 out of 2 games with Ja Morant. It's important to say that in this Nuggets game there was no Ja Morant and it was a blowout, so that's why his minutes were lower. But looking at the 2 specific games with Ja Morant, he had 22 against the Clippers and 13 against the Pelicans. So he's averaging 17.5 points per game in those 2 games with Ja Morant this season. This is also Marcus Smart's 4th game since returning from injury. He played 29 minutes in his first game back, and then this game was a blowout. And also in his most recent game, he played 32 minutes. So he's looking like fully healthy. He's getting his full workload, so we don't have to worry about like a minutes restriction or anything like that coming off a 32-minute game. And that's awesome, averaging 30.5 minutes per game in his 2 games with Ja Morant. And also his defense is going to be needed in this game. They could put him on Fox, because if Ja is guarding Fox, Fox is going to have a field day. So I definitely expect Smart to be guarding Fox, and the Grizzlies are going to need his defense. So if we look over here at Core IQ, this is a great website for you guys. You can see players' stats with certain people on the court and certain people off the court. And obviously Marcus Smart was injured for a lot of the season, and then Ja Morant was suspended, right? So he just came back. So it's important to look at Marcus Smart's stats with Ja Morant on the court, because that is the most important. And if we look over here, we're on the per 1 minute. You could go by per 36 minutes or per game, but if we're looking at per minute stats, Marcus Smart is averaging 0.48 points per minute with Ja Morant on the court. Now let's do the math here. 0.48, and Marcus Smart is averaging 30.5 minutes in those 2 games with Ja. So if we times that by 30, Marcus Smart is averaging about 14.5 points with Ja Morant on the court. And obviously Marcus Smart's a starter, so he plays with Ja Morant at the same time a lot of the game. And this is a great number, 14.5. You know, all we need is 12 for this line to cash. So I feel like this line is a bit lower than it should be, because, you know, he's playing great with Ja. He's playing great since the game's back. I think the Grizzlies are going to need his defense. And also, if we look at the spread for this game, the spread is currently 1.5 points. So Vegas is expecting a super down the wire game, and if it is a close game, as it should be, Marcus Smart should definitely hit 30+ minutes. He can even see more. And also, let's look at the matchup. You know, I'm a big matchup guy. If we look at shooting guards, the Kings are allowing the most points to shooting guards in the last 30 days. Literally the best matchup you can get possible. So I'm loving that. Marcus Smart shot chart in his last 3 games. You can see the dark blue ones are makes, the light blue ones that aren't shaded in are misses. He gets a ton of his points from the corner. He's been great at that corner 3. Ja Morant kicks it out a lot because Ja Morant drives a ton and he gets a ton of double teams. He gets a ton of attention from the defense, so he just kicks out, and Smart's been killing those. And Smart is great in the restricted area, absolutely great, and great in the paint as well. So let's look how the Kings are doing there. Let's start off with corner threes, actually, since that's where Smart gets a majority of his points. Kings are allowing the 9th highest field goal percentage from the corner three in December. And if we look at the restricted area, the Kings are allowing the 11th highest field goal percentage against the restricted area. And also the paint, where Smart's been great. The Kings are allowing the 14th highest field goal percentage against paint shots. So pretty good matchups all around. The paint is like a middle of the pack matchup. Restricted area is almost top 10. And quarter three is the best one, 9th highest. And that's where Smart gets a bulk of his points. And also they're allowing the most points to shooting guards in general. So his zones are very advantageous against the Kings. And also the positional matchup is the best, most advantageous matchup in the whole league. And also currently this prop is minus 130 on DraftKings. So if a lot of people play this more, this could get bumped to like 12 or 12.5 before tip off. So I'm thinking that's going to get bumped and we're going to get some value here. Let's look at 2 more props for you guys. Small slate, so I'm not really forcing anything. We went 20-1 like 2 days ago. Remember guys, if you guys aren't in the Discord, it's $15 a month or $40 for 3 months. But a lot of people do the $15 for a month just to test it out. I post all my props here. Obviously I can't post all my props on YouTube because I'm running the server. And then also plays come out way later in the day or like right before tip off. So I'm posting way more than I post on YouTube here. And also on Twitter, I have a Twitter, guys, Real Ace Picks on Twitter. So sometimes I post some props out there for you guys, for the Twitter folks. But yeah, let's get into my next prop. So I have on Chalkboard, the next 2 props are Chalkboard alt lines. You know, I love my Chalkboard alt lines. The next line is Trey Young over 2.5 threes on Chalkboard. So let's look at his logs without DeAndre Hunter, who is out for this game. 2.5 threes he's hit in 6 straight. And if we look specifically at road games, which this is a road game, he's averaging 5.3 threes per game on the road without DeAndre Hunter. That is absolutely insane. And if we look at his logs, Trey Young is a very interesting player because he's way better on the road, and you'll see how. He's averaging 2.8 threes per game at home and attempting 8 threes per game, but on the road he's averaging 4.1 threes per game, and he's averaging 10.5 3-point attempts. So he's been way better on the road, like significantly better on the road. And we love taking advantage of those home road splits, like players that are very, very good in certain splits. We love taking them. But yeah, Trey, 4.1 threes per game on the road. That's a drastic difference. And he's over in, like I said before, 4 to 4 games without Hunter on the road, averaging almost 5.5 threes. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. Trey's catching a Wizards team who are allowing the 9th most 3-pointers made to point guards. So pretty advantageous matchup, top 10 matchup here. And Trey, he should be covered by Tyus Jones from the Wizards. And if we look at Tyus Jones, he's allowing a 38% field goal percentage against 3-point shots. So that's a very advantageous matchup. And also, if we look again at Trey Young's road logs without DeAndre Hunter, he's averaging 12.5 3-point attempts per game while shooting 42% from 3 in that span. You guys can do the math. That's crazy. Like if he sees 10, 12 threes, he might finish like 4 or 5 threes, or at least 3 for sure. So I'm loving that prop. That prop is also 3.5 on PrizePicks. 3.5 on PrizePicks. I wouldn't mind it if you put like half a unit on that. I wouldn't mind it because, you know, he obviously has the potential to pop off, as you see here, but he's had a few games where he hits just 3, but on the road he's only hit 1 game where he just has 3. But you know, I'm taking the Chalkboard online. You can take it on PrizePicks if you guys want, at your own discretion. If you love the write-up and think he can hit 4, then go for it. But another prop that I have, the last prop for today, is a Chalkboard outline again, and it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over 29.5 points. So if we look here, 29.5 points, and he is in a home game. He has hit this in 81% of his home games this season, and he's hit the over in, I believe that's 10 straight games at home. So yeah, that is 10 straight games at home, averaging 33.7 points per game in his last 10 games. So that is great. And if we look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's shot chart this season, let's go ahead and look at that. His hot spot on the court is the restricted area. He's averaging 64.2 field goal percentage from the restricted area. That's almost 4% or 4.4% higher than league average. If we look at the Nets are allowing, let's see here. The Brooklyn Nets are allowing, am I blind? Oh, sorry. Let's look at the last 10 games. I forgot. We did last 10 games because Claxton was injured earlier in the month of December. So if we look at last 10 games, the Brooklyn Nets are allowing the sixth highest field goal percentage from the restricted area in the last 10 games since Claxton has been back. So that's going to be a very advantageous spot for Shea. And also, if we look at his mid-range, this mid-range higher than league average by far. This mid-range higher by far. Higher. So he's a great mid-range shooter. If we look at the matchup there against the Nets are allowing the 5th highest mid-range field goal percentage, which is absolutely crazy. Another hot spot for Shea. And then also in the paint. He's been great in the paint, above league average. And if we look at the Kings matchup, the Brooklyn Nets, sorry. They're not allowing that high. They're actually 5th least. So that's not the best matchup, but also they're allowing the 7th highest field goal percentage from 3. He's not really a 3-point shooter, but he is coming off a game with 2 3s. So I can see him banging in a 3. Probably not 2, but definitely getting 1. So yeah, his 2 hot spots are the the restricted area and mid-range. So he should thrive off the Nets. Also, the Nets are allowing they're fouling the 8th most out of all teams in their last 3 games in SGA. He's great at drawing that contact, getting to the free throw line, and getting a ton of points from there. So I'm liking that spot a lot. Also, if we look at point guards with 30 usage or higher, with 30 minutes or more game logs versus the Nets this season, SGA is averaging 34% usage in his last 10 games, and obviously he's getting 30 or more minutes. Look at these point guards. Cade, he had 22 one game, but he had 41 the next game. Jamal Murray had 32, Curry 37, Fox 29, Trey 30, Rozier 37, Trey 43, and Luka 49. So point guards with 30% usage with 30 plus minutes have been killing the Nets. And we got to remember, guys, SGA is the 3rd highest points per game leader in the whole league. So he's better. He's averaging more points than all of these guys except for Luka, and Luka had 49. So if guys like Rozier can drop 37, guys like Cade could drop 41, Shea could go nuclear in this game. He can absolutely go nuclear. The only thing that kind of concerns me is that the Thunder just blew out the Nuggets in Denver, and Denver has been like one of the best home teams in the whole league, and now they're catching the Nets at home in Oklahoma. So this could be a blowout, but if it is a blowout, it should be off of SGA's performance, so he should still be able to clear this. But yeah, it could be a blowout, so his PrizePicks line is kind of scary, but he has been hitting his PrizePicks line. So, but yeah, we're taking it at 29.5 on Chalkboard. So we got Smart over 11.5 points on PrizePicks. We have SGA over 29.5 points, Chalkboard alt line, and also Trey Young over 2.5 threes, Chalkboard alt line. And if you guys are not on Chalkboard, remember guys, 100% match up to $100 when you first deposit on Chalkboard, promo code ACE. You guys will get that 100% match up to $100, and you guys can get 2 months of premium for free when you use my code and you just DM me proof on Discord. And also, guys, remember my Twitter at RealAcePicks. The Discord link is in the bio if you guys want to join. And only $15 a month, and you guys are getting a ton of value, daily picks with a ton of write-ups. Like the write-ups have been crazy. It looks way better on the phone because they're like, it looks like an essay on the phone. But yeah, so coming off of a 4-1 day on YouTube, the other day we went 20-1 in the Discord, all props given out. So good luck on these props today, guys. Hope you guys have a great day betting. Deuces.